No, his hairline's very good. It's the only one I've seen of my friends that's not receding.
Oh, I was
That's kind of
supposed to
so
pick up my
sad. That's kind of so
It's
sad.
so sad, man. It was so sad.
yeah, dude. Mine's getting bad. I was supposed to pick up my medicine 2 weeks ago that like keeps your hair from falling out. And I didn't.
Oh, minoxidil?
LeBron James type stuff.
Finasteride.
Oh, finasteride. Is that the pill?
Yes, the pill one. Minoxidil is the one you like that put on your head. But I think there's a pill too.
What's the is there something wrong with finasteride?
Oh yeah, if it's like too high of a dose, then like it like fucks your sex drive.
Good for me. That does not have any impact on my life. So here we are.
I sat down at the Growler this weekend with Erica, and it was just very sad when we sat in 2 seats and nobody else sat around us. It was like one of those moments, like first time being back since college. You like sit somewhere and you're like, I expected 4 other butts to sit down right now.
Yeah.
You're just like, this sucks.
Should we actually do the podcast now?
Let's do it.
After we talked about everything under the sun. All right. Doug, you want to cast down?
Oh,
Yep. In the future, no one's allowed to hit the record button until we say 5.
That's I don't think that would work. Yeah, I don't. Somebody's gonna mess that up.
Ready?
Somebody's gonna mess that up.
Well, you know what I mean. Before we count down. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to episode 61 of the Fifth Wheel Podcast. This week, we bring you everything you need to know about the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm your host, Achintia, joined by Andrew, Doug, and Jay, and this is the Fifth Wheel Podcast. Old note at the end. All right. Well, guys, as we all know, we had some cars going around really fast around the Hungaroring. Before we talk about that, though, I want to talk about some news. And this first news topic is just hilarious. Nicholas Latifi. Now, that's a name we haven't talked in a while. We haven't said in a while. You probably haven't even heard about in a while. Nicholas Latifi announced on his Twitter, it was the last tweet he had was his goodbye to F1. So he hasn't tweeted since then. But he released some news last week saying that he got into the MBA program at London Business School, and he will be attending and getting his MBA there.
Incredible.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. I have questions, though. First of all, does he have an undergraduate degree?
Probably not.
It's a prereq, right?
Right.
Surely. No way.
There's no way.
Isn't he just a billionaire, though? Or isn't his dad a billionaire? You don't really need an undergrad degree if your dad has a lot of money.
Well, it's probably like a 5-year program, right? Or like a 3-year program or something. Because there's no way. How can you get an MBA with that undergrad? Isn't that a requirement?
It's got to be. Right?
I don't know.
He was a paid driver because he's a pay MBA.
Oh, he was born into the Saputo family, which founded the dairy company Saputo Incorporated.
Never heard of him.
He's a dairy boy.
So the other question is what does he do with his MBA degree? Like, where is he going to be? An investment banker, consulting? Like, what do you do? You know? Bless you.
Thank you. They're probably going into the family business, right? That's the next logical step.
You just become an accountant for the family dairy business.
He's got a cash cow business.
Oh, good one.
Yikes.
Good one.
Sorry.
We should move on.
Yeah, we should.
I killed the mood so hard.
No, there's more to that, but we're just going to move on. Let's talk about tires instead.
Tires.
Tires with the Y.
So, yeah, the tires that Pirelli... So every year, Pirelli has like a new set of compound tires. That's how they they have their own like sort of metric for how they make them. And as y'all know, Daniel Ricciardo did a tire test for 2024. So they were testing what the compounds will be like for next year. But they made a change ahead of the British Grand Prix. So this is going to be the second race now. And they changed the structure of the tires mid-season. And I want to say Alonso had something to say about this.
He did. Yeah, he was so basically the gist of it is Pirelli changed the tires to what they call a more robust construction, which if I read this so I don't get it wrong, but it helps to deal with increasing downforce levels without raising minimum pressures. So whatever that means. It just means I think they made them a little bit more stiffer.
Yeah.
But Alonso is blaming a lot of Aston's lack of performance on this, and potentially McLaren's like jump into relevance also on this. I don't know. He's saying that the Red Bull and the Aston seem to have like fallen off a little bit because of this change, and some other teams have made a jump because of it. So he's complaining a little bit about it, and it doesn't really love that they changed it mid-season. That's his take on it.
I mean, it's kind of crazy they changed it mid-season. Barring any extra results that could have been increased or decreased because of the tires, it's crazy they changed like a structural component like that mid-season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a big rules change. I mean, the team's performance, their data from the first half of the season is based. It's not useless, but it's like it's not as relevant because you don't know what the car performance is like now that the tires are different. So it is a big change, and I get why he's pissed. And I think that's again another reason why like teams like Mercedes and Ferrari too, like the bigger teams, they invested into this car design with those tires at the beginning of the season, and now it's not relevant. It's not a good data model. So it's like
he said that there was a noticeable difference, and I think maybe Sergio Perez also said that, but most of the drivers have said they haven't noticed anything. So I don't know if it's Alonso being Alonso, or he's just hyper aware about every little detail, or if he's exaggerating a little bit and the car just isn't performing where he wants it to, which is also probably part of it.
We're probably never going to know.
Probably never going to know. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, wait.
Crazy.
This is very similar to the 2016-2017 NBA season where the new jerseys came out, the shirt jerseys.
Oh,
those are awesome.
They were like tight around the shoulders.
I loved them.
And LeBron ripped his jersey after shooting poorly in the first half and went on the second half to have a much better performance and a game win.
Well, that's
That is
crazy
exactly the
because
same.
Nike actually no, that was Adidas jerseys because Adidas did that in college basketball in 2013. They were ugly. The ones that did in college basketball were ugly. This is also comparable to the MLB, to when they had one season of a lot of home runs because they juiced the baseball, and then the next season they had no home runs because they deadened the baseball.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
I mean,
Did not know that.
Well, rumored to have juiced the baseball. It's like it was a COVID season. They were like a shit ton of home runs because they were trying to get fan excitement. And then 2021 there was like incredible amount of strikeouts. But Aaron Judge did hit 61 home runs. No, that was 22. I don't know.
Let's go Aaron Judge.
well, however,
Back to the sport that we actually have a podcast about.
talking about F1 again. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the tires have made a big difference, but there were some changes in how qualifying turned out. So let's go and get into the race. The big story, the one that is dominating the qualifying section, I think, is there was not a Max Verstappen pole, which is not a sentence you hear often in 2022 or 2023, but or 2022 for what it's worth. But Lewis Hamilton was on pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I didn't expect that. They've been talking a lot of shit about that car. Lewis has been talking a lot of shit about that car, and for him to come out and get P1 was crazy. So this is 104th pole, I want to say. He beat the current standing record, which was held by Lewis Hamilton at 103. So
also his first pole in like 25 races or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think his last pole
since Bahrain 2021.
That sounds no. Is that right?
No, it can't. No, Abu Dhabi.
Can't be Bahrain.
Was he on pole in Abu
yeah.
Dhabi?
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi. Yeah,
I can't. Yeah. So literally since that traumatic race, he's not seen the front row from his car. So that was interesting to see. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum was his teammate George Russell, who got out in Q1. So like he was really mad. George was, and I think there's some tension there. I think there's a little bit of tension between those two drivers.
I don't know. It's not like Lewis Hamilton did anything to George to cause him to get out in Q1, though.
Yeah, but maybe it's like team strategy. I don't remember exactly why. I think George was out late or something like that. But he lately has not been qualifying that well.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. They like put George out way late into the round because they were starting on hards, and then just got caught up in some traffic, and then just ended up like letting 4 or 5 drivers go by, and then I think just got caught up and kind of got screwed over, and that's really it.
I turned it off late, and they kept saying it looked like he just took a turn too wide and didn't mean to let people pass through, and it kind of ruined his time. because he got kind of caught in that backlog jam of not being able to kind of get the free air to drive. So they were acting like he got screwed. I mean, at the end of the day, just drive faster. But this was the first qualifying with the new tire regulations for qualifying, though. We use the hard, medium, softs.
Okay.
I thought it was cool. I don't
Yeah.
really know. The drivers complained some, or help me out. Lewis Hamilton said something about, this should be better for the fans, but that wasn't exactly the qualifying format. That was because of the reduced number of tires that were allocated for the race weekend.
Yeah. So
Man, we had crazy tire changes this weekend.
yeah, they usually have 13 sets, I want to say, and they were down to 11. And they're required to use hards in Q1, mediums in Q2, and softs in Q3. So I mean, I personally thought it was cool to see, though I can see if you're a team that just struggles on like hard tires, then like obviously that sucks because like you have a greater chance of getting out in qualifying. But the bigger thing was that I think this is a push for like sustainability because they say that it changes like it takes off thousands of tires off how many they have to ship, which is a good thing.
It was crazy that like the stat they gave during the broadcast was like, yeah, this cuts out 25,000 tires being shipped across the world every weekend. It was crazy.
Yeah, something
It's kind of crazy. This is guys behind a Sustainability Act too. That's kind of changing like a core rule that they have, or a core aspect of the sport. Because now you can't just like throw on a soft tire in Q1 and just know you're going to get Q2 and they don't dry. Which we've seen before is cars make Q3 and they just don't even take a lap because they're like, can't compete. Got here using two softs.
Yeah.
It's Latifi's P10.
Well, I think the tire changes have definitely been something to watch. And I think at this point, obviously, Lewis getting on pole was unexpected, and I think we need to look at the Red Bull upgrades because that was a big conversation topic going into the weekend. So there were rumors of a big Red Bull change, and some people thought it was going to be zero pod design, which would have been just so insulting to Mercedes if they brought zero pods to the track. But what they actually did was a lot
awesome,
more.
Though.
It would have looked awesome. It would have been. I mean, it would have been funny.
So funny.
There are some rumors that the Red Bull upgrade would look like the Aston Martin, as they call it, the water slide. So, or the side pod slide or something like that. But
it's water slide.
Water slide.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that either. What they ended up doing, and this is so clever. I mean, it is Adrian Newey at his best. What they did is they minimized the inlet on the side pods, so it's a little bit thinner, and they're getting around their CFD penalties by saying that the upgrade is for engine cooling, not for downforce or aerodynamic purposes, and any benefit from that is just coincidental. Like, dude, how do you compete in the sport when you have someone thinking that gigabrained? Like, I mean, come on, dude. He just
also to reduce the air intake. It's kind of crazy because you would assume an engine would overheat. So they have a lot of faith in that engine, and they're claiming it's cooling, which is even crazier because you're getting less air to the engine, so therefore it should be hotter over time. So it's kind of crazy how much faith they have in the performance and the technicality and ability of that Red Bull engine.
Yeah, no, that's a big statement. Big statement of Red Bull powertrains to keep up that cooling factor there, like you said. So yeah, I mean, it didn't help them in quality anyways. They ended up slower than Lewis, but just barely. I think it was like hundredths of a second. Checo got into Q3.
He did.
Finally.
I don't care.
Long time.
Yeah, about time.
As expected.
As he should have been doing. Yeah. And then they had Daniel Ricciardo, which he had a great qualifying. Let me tell you, he was in that AlphaTauri. And everyone said he's not going to get a Q1. Everyone said he's going to qualify back of the grid. Fuck all of y'all. Fuck all of y'all. That man beat his teammate Yuki Tsunoda first weekend in, got to Q2. That was hype. I don't care. And dude, what makes me mad, I was scrolling through Reddit. I was scrolling through Twitter looking at this. Everyone's praising him. I'm like, I know y'all weren't saying that last year. I know what y'all were saying last year. And now everyone wants to get back on the train. Get the fuck away from Daniel Ricciardo. I've been here since day one. I believed in him from the beginning. And so did he, because he managed to beat his teammate first quality session in. So that was hype.
It is actually very impressive. It is Definitely not good yet. Awful look for Yuki, but really impressive for Danny Ray. Honestly, he
Beginner's
Just-
luck.
beginner's
you.
luck. Yeah,
Fuck you. He did great. He was saying in the media
This is
pit.
the same thing as Nick DeVries.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
God.
it might be.
No.
It might be.
Is it? No. I
Well,
mean,
it could be.
could be.
we'll see. We'll see. It
We'll
is a
see
slow
next week.
circuit.
Daniel
is a
Ricciardo
slow
looks
circuit.
really weird in that AlphaTauri outfit. I'm not gonna lie, it looks weird. He needs to be in orange.
He's the
Or black
orange.
Mm.
and yellow. Or
No, he didn't look good in black and yellow either. It's either like prominent blue and red Bull or the orange of McLaren. There's no in between for him.
I hate orange, so definitely that. But yeah, it was a good weekend for him. A lot of hype around that. I think it was the weekend he needed. He was talking about the media pin, how like the last race he would have been just in hospitality eating an ice cream, and now he was driving a car in quali. So impressive
that.
for him to be able to jump in and do that. So yeah. Should we talk about the race now? I don't know if there's anything else from qualifying, unless y'all have something.
no,
McLaren in the top two again, but that's
Yeah.
it. Lando
Disgusting.
qualified second.
McLaren's
Third.
good.
Third.
McLaren's good.
Yeah. They
McLaren is
qualified
good.
3 and 4, which is pretty cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
It
did.
would have been
Crazy.
sick if
Yeah. No,
if
go ahead.
they didn't fuck Piastri in the race.
Mm.
They did.
They did slaughter our boy.
And we'll talk more about the race in a second. But I think I want to give it a second because we should give him more credit. And I think maybe we did a little bit. But dude, Piastri's having a great rookie season, man. That is a great
good.
rookie season. He
He's
is
a
good.
beast.
He is good. There was, I think, Otmar Safnauer was on record saying that if he had to choose between Piastri and Gasly, he would sign Gasly. Dude, I don't know.
I would
Like,
sign Piastri.
I would sign Piastri in a heartbeat, man. He's
He's
great.
younger and cheaper.
Yeah,
True.
he's a quick guy. So shout out to Piastri, man. Good weekend for him. Yeah, but we should talk about the race now
We
because
can
that's
Pierre Gasly next if we want during the race.
what did Pierre Gasly do? Oh, yeah. Okay, actually,
Get into it.
so there is one other qualifying performance he didn't talk about that was really impressive, but the shine has been taken off of it because of what he did in the race. So race begins. Lewis Hamilton gets off the line, but we need to turn our attention to the P5 pit box or P5 box because Zhou Guan Yu out-qualified both Ferraris. And that
How
is
did he
for Romeo.
drag that to P5? He dragged out the P5 in qualifying, which is crazy to think about.
How do you drag it to Q3? Forget P5. Q3 is impressive. And then on top of that, he's beating Ferrari.
Insane.
Impressive. Unfortunately, when the lights turned during the race, I think he was still looking at his phone.
Oh god,
And-
it's so bad.
He just
Terrible
didn't.
reaction.
It was like a second went by before he left that grid box. He wasn't going anywhere anytime fast. And I'm pretty sure he ended up in P15. So he went P5 to P15 or P14 in like the span of a second. And so he's like, fuck, I gotta like keep up with everyone. And just hit the accelerator and decided that braking was not necessary. And just ran into the back of Ricardo, who then was punted into, was it Gasly?
No, it was Ocon.
He's punted into Ocon, who then hit Gasly.
And then Ocon spun out and almost took off Pierre's head.
Yeah, he jumped in the air. Yeah, his car went
Yeah.
up on the tire, dude. And that was the end of the race for Alpine. It's a double DNF, second race in a row.
Golly.
It's so fun being a fan because it's either like I turned the TV on 3 laps in, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks," and just saw 2 Alpines at the bottom of the screen already, and I was like, "It's literally the race started 5 seconds ago. What happened here?" And then they showed all the replays. You never know what you're gonna get. It's kind of exciting. It's very thrilling, but also Pierre did a crazy move to try to gain like 7 places on that turn to end up outside on the left. So he was in 15, and when everybody else is braking, he just cuts it onto the grass on the outside. It just zooms forward like that's like the grid into Ocon's tire, which then just annihilates the side pod. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
You guys
bad
haven't seen it,
damage.
watch it. Watch his perspective. He zooms up the left side in the grass, dust is flying everywhere, and I'm like, that just can't be legal.
That's wicked.
And the thing is, so both cars were still driving technically, and like, I mean, they were at the back, and then they pulled Gasly in, and his tire. I don't know if y'all saw, dude. They had the footage. His tire came off the rim and just went off.
It's like the. Have y'all seen the Reddit thread where it's like, "I must go, my people need me,"
Yes,
and it's just tires going off of cars and just getting launched into just nature.
I don't think they ever recovered that tire. They never called a safety car, which was weird.
That was nuts.
That's crazy.
How did
That's crazy.
dude? They red flag sessions for like the smallest thing in the world. There's a 3-car pileup and there's no safety car. Nothing. They're just like keep going.
I don't think there was any debris because the side pod of Gasly's got like crushed into it, and then I don't know what happened to Ocon, why he retired. Daniel was fine. Like it was, I don't know, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh,
Daniel,
Ocon broke his
Daniel
seat,
took some
right?
damage in the back, but what?
Yes, that's what it was. Ocon broke his seat. That's
broke,
why he had to retire.
I don't know if that's ever happened in F1 history. Breaking your seat is crazy. That's got to be so
He's
scary.
too thick, man.
He's too thick. Can you
Dude,
imagine?
okay, wait. I was trying to make that joke to Ace, but then
Yeah.
I was like, what if do the other drivers joke and oh, you broke the chair, lose some weight? They're like, but they all weigh the same, right? They all weigh the exact same weight, so you can't
really make that
you
joke.
can't really call someone fat because it just doesn't work.
Dude,
No.
Well, dude, they don't all weigh the same though.
There's
no,
limits.
within 10 kilograms. Not I mean, they're within each.
Yeah, but isn't Albon 6 foot? There's
Yeah,
no
but,
way he and Max weigh the same.
He only
Came out.
6 feet. He seemed so tall.
I guess Yuki's probably the lightest driver, but
You can just, they have metal bars in his car because he can't put the
weigh
weight
that car
on.
down. Can
They
you
do, I mean,
imagine?
He's
Can you
6'1".
imagine?
6'1".
He's 6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
Yuki. Yes, Yuki's 6'1".
isn't Max 5'11"?
I meant Esteban, but
Oh,
Yeah.
Esteban is 6'1"?
yes,
I
Esteban's
thought you said Yuki was 6'1".
Esteban's tall.
No, Yuki's obviously not 6'1". Totally, I thought
No,
it was
Yuki's like
Albon.
5'5".
He might be 5'1". He's closer to
tall is
5'1"
Albon.
than 6'1".
I think Albon's like 6 feet, maybe.
So yeah, double DNF from Alpine. I don't even know what to say. Oh, Alpine got a new CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got
Laurent
fired.
Rossi got fired. They must have got tired of him talking shit about his own team. What happened?
He get fired. He got moved to a special advisory role within the company overseeing special projects. Is his
That's
official
the-
title.
Biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Special project. What's more special project than the F1 team at a car company?
I'm
where
just telling you what his new title is. But he's a new CEO. So
Ooh.
remember, Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds bought the team. So welcome to team 2 back-to-back double DNFs. Great start to your 10-year.
Yikes.
Oh
Just
my
living life
God.
over here, man. It's kind of fun.
That's funny. So yeah, that's pretty much. That was all the action for this race.
The
I
race
mean,
sucked, besides that.
this race sucked, dude. I don't even know. What else even? What is it? I mean, Aston. Okay, where is Aston's pace? I want to talk about this actually. Why? What happened?
Well, I mean, I think you could chalk it up to a couple things. Either they don't know how to develop. They did all their developing in the beginning, and now the car is bad, or all the other cars just got better, which is pretty much what happened, right? I mean, we know McLaren brought a lot of upgrades. We know Mercedes brought a lot of upgrades. Ferrari seems to have fallen into the same boat. So Ferrari, Aston, both teams that have just fallen off the top of the board.
This is a segment about Aston, not about Ferrari. All right.
Wait, how can you talk about Aston without talking about Ferrari? I mean, you can't. They're
I
linked
just
now.
did.
Because Ferrari wasn't getting podiums at the beginning of the year, and now we're getting P10 and P9.
Yeah, but they were pretty close.
Aston was.
They were pretty close, but still, I mean, they've fallen just as far. Maybe even a little bit less so than Aston. I will say that Aston has really not done very well in the past few races, especially Silverstone was awful. This race was awful. I think they were saying this one may. I read an email. I get emails from Mike Crack every week about the
same.
race, And he was talking like, yeah, we're hopeful this weekend. We think this track is going to be a little bit better suited to the car. And Alonso got 9th and Lance got 10th, which is bad. Which I said this before. I said this a couple days ago in the group chat. But I am afraid that Lance Stroll is going to get like bailed out by the car not being good anymore for being a bad driver. Like Alonso is not going to be pushing for podiums. What?
You're admitting that Lance Stroll is a bad driver?
Yes, I'm admitting that. I'm admitting that. I'm taking the mask off.
What happened?
But he also
I'm taking the mask off.
He has broken.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
well,
he's
either
driving
way.
the car. Remember when he got carried out of the car, Doug?
Yeah, well, we could say that. We could say that at the
amazing he's
beginning of the year, but now his wrists are fine. So he just sucks.
Yeah. How long
That's
does it take for a wrist to heal? I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think also too, one thing you have to consider is that there are rumors about the cost cap breach. They're saying a few teams may have breached last year. We don't know for sure. The only consistent name I've heard so far is Aston Martin for like a potential team that may have broken some rules. A Red Bull too, which is pretty funny because apparently the problem is that what's his name? Helmut Marko and the Red Bull organization structure just isn't properly put. I don't know if y'all saw, but they cut to him at some point in the race weekend, and it said Helmut Marko consultant, which is pretty funny. Like, what is he consulting on? Like, what does he have to offer apart from firing people?
Isn't it allegedly his salary is too large, and that's what's like put them over the cost cap? That's so funny.
If it's true,
oh,
we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure, but if that is, it's hilarious, and I think we'll see what happens with Aston. But yeah, man, I mean, and that's also too. I mean, we'll see with McLaren. I mean, they're fast now, but we said the same thing about Aston Martin 6 months ago. So,
but
I
also
think it's very variable.
McLaren like basically started this year with their car from last year, so there's no way they spent any money on that car.
That's honestly very true. Because remember they came in, they missed like technical checkpoints that they wanted to hit. So maybe they just punted on the first like 4 races. We're like, we're gonna hide this car back here, see what goes good, copy what's good, and then just keep going.
Maybe that's the play, honestly.
Didn't they just get right after they showed the bottom of that Red Bull car in Monaco?
Yeah, they did. It came like right
I just
after.
thought of that. Maybe I mean
wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
That'd be crazy. I don't know.
Boring
Let's
race
see.
besides that. First lap, only good thing.
Yeah, that was about it. We could write off the rest of this race. The podium ceremony was kind of interesting. So Lando, obviously he got P2. I guess we should say Max Verstappen won.
Yeah.
Lando got P2. Who got P2? Checo. Actually, Checo did have a pretty good drive this weekend. He was voted driver of the day. Yeah. I think that's what he needed, his confidence. Checo needed some confidence back in his system. And so, this race, being back on the podium was big. But Lando got P2, and he has his preference. So you know how every driver kind of likes to celebrate on their own. Daniel Ricciardo likes Chewy, whatever. Lando likes to use what's his name? Valentino Rossi's. He's like a motorcycle guy or whatever, MotoGP guy.
Oh yeah. His
favorite type of ceremony is to bang the bottom of the champagne bottle like flat on a surface, and that causes it to explode. It's really cool to see, honestly. Like it's a pretty cool thing. But he did it at this race, and he hits the champagne bottle on the first place stand or whatever, and knocks over Max's trophy. And you see it on the live stream, like it just topples over. And dude, these Hungarian Grand Prix trophies are pretty cool. Like they're like a ceramic like vase. I don't really know what you call it. And
it's like a porcelain like ornamental vase.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's very cool.
And apparently, so we found a lot about these trophies. Apparently, they're handmade by a team of like 30, 40 people. It takes them 6 months to make it and costs 40,000 euros. And he just shattered it right there in front of everyone. And yeah, I mean, they were making a big deal out of it. Like, Lando broke Max's trophy. I know Drive to Survive is going to say something about it. Like, Lando, didn't get P1 in the race. He broke Max's trophy. It's just not really what happened. He accidentally broke it. But hot take, I really don't think that he should get in trouble for that. It's fine. He broke the trophy, so what? It makes it more interesting.
He tried to blame it on Max too for leaving it on the podium, which
that's fucked up. That's wrong.
I'm kind of
like
it
that.
is Max's fault.
Where would he put it? What's gonna hold on to it while he's
hold
spraying
it.
everyone down?
I don't know.
You can't put your breakable thing right on the edge as people are jumping around. No.
Yeah, man, that's on him. Totally
That-
on
that-
him.
That's like when I break a glass because I put it up the edge of the counter and then it falls, and I'm like, fuck, why did I put it there? You blame yourself. You got to put it inside.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think it's a really big news story. I think people are trying to make it a bigger news story. And I feel like the people that made the trophy, or if I was the one that made the trophy, sure, it'd be kind of heartbreaking to see something I'd worked on for 6 months get shattered on TV. But, I wouldn't have known about this, what goes into it if it wasn't for
That's very true.
the incident.
Very
I
true.
agree. It's a very beautiful trophy, and I wouldn't have really thought about it unless Lando smacked a bottle of champagne and knocked it off the table.
I would never have even seen it, to be honest.
Speaking of not beautiful things, let's review our predictions from last week.
Yeah. Doug, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So I had Max winning, which he did. And then I had Hamilton second, which was a good take after qualifying, but Mercedes ended up screwing him over. So he got fourth, right? Finished right behind Checo. I think he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had Alonso third, which obviously is an awful take now. And Oscar P4, which was close because he got P5. And I think I'm going to have to end up keeping him up there because he is just so unbelievably consistent for a rookie. And then I also have Lance P5, which was also very wrong because he got 10th. And that's it. Really bad for me. But I think I'm going to keep sticking with Oscar, keep sticking with McLaren in my future predictions.
Fair enough.
Andrew, please.
All right. I had Max winning, which he did, so already 1 for 1. Hamilton P2, 1 for 2. Ocon P3, 1 for 3. That was an awful take. He didn't even make it to the first corner. My bold take was Ricardo P14 or better.
Which he did.
I think he got
P13.
P14.
You nailed that.
13.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely nailed it. Yeah, I had no luck. I guess I was just so excited about Ricardo being top 14. All right, Jay, what you got?
So I had Pierre winning.
Ooh.
Russell second and Lando third. So 0 for 3 on that one. Williams double points. So 0 for 4. I have no idea where they finished. Don't think it was in the points. And I had Pierre victory, and he didn't make it a corner. So Achintia.
Yeah.
Tough, Jay.
It's tough.
I said Max P1, great. Hamilton P2, not true, P4, and then Lando P3. So 2 out of 3. And I just want to say this before I get to the rest of my prediction. We all agreed last week we're not going to put Checo on the podium, and the first week we do that, he's on the podium, and everyone else. So maybe we're the curse. I don't know.
That's fine.
It'll be okay. And then I said Logan Sargent points, which is a bad take objectively. I don't know, where did he finish?
He DNF'd.
No, he spun out. I don't think he DNF'd. Yeah.
Yeah, he DNF'd.
He DNF'd? Really? I didn't even.
Well,
see.
he retired with 1 lap to go.
Oh yeah, that
technically
was so
DNF.
dumb. Did he not make
He
it one
cooked his
more
tires,
lap?
and they weren't gonna use another set of tires for 1 lap for him to get last.
Yeah,
Just go
it's
to one
ridiculous.
lap on the bad tires. You're already second to last. Just
That's what
get
I'm
credit
saying.
for finishing
No.
the lap.
I'm actually for this. It's better for his record because would you rather get last place? Would you rather lose the game by 50 or not play at all?
Whoa.
It's like he couldn't play. He was injured. But the team lost by 50, but it wasn't his fault because he was injured.
I see the point. I see the point. Personally, this happened in my basketball game the other week when we lost by 50, and then the following week we didn't play. I would much rather have played the game than, even though we lost by 50. But that's also a very non-competitive adult basketball league. So I completely understand his point of view if he's like, I would rather not race.
He's trying to pad his stats.
Losing by
because-
50 in a rec league game is pretty tough. I will say. I've been there.
Well, we lost by 51 time because we played the reincarnation of Steph Curry.
Oh, that's not an exaggeration either. But anyway, it's India.
Yeah,
Please,
moving on.
that's a different story.
Could that be a
Yeah.
bonus at the end? Is that story?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can tell at the end.
Not even a story, but yeah.
I was a little less bold with Daniel Ricciardo's performance than Andrew. I just said does not finish last, and that was true. So
well, that's true.
Yeah.
He did pretty good.
We actually didn't mention it really, but finishing 13th is really, really good for him.
he beat his.
Yuki in the race.
And first lap
Yeah.
damage.
So also,
Yes.
also another thing too. So Yuki got called into the pits, and then he had a really bad pit stop at AlphaTauri. And the theory is that AlphaTauri called in Daniel Ricciardo, and they said, "Hey, we want to pit you," and he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And he did 40 laps on the mediums, which is like
Damn.
10 more than anyone else. Yeah.
Good.
He
So-
did.
And he did the strategy call stuff. He said they called him in the box. He's like, "Nah, I'm good," and just nursed 40 laps. Maybe because he was scared that he was going to get a 10-second pit stop. So, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
big baller.
That's like you have to put in the second string QB at the end of the game, and like a coach calls a play, and then like the second string QB is like, "Nah, I got this." It's like, bro, not your
he
time.
got it.
You are
No,
not.
I
him.
don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if that compares. I feel like Daniel Ricciardo's higher on the depth chart than second string QB. I feel like.
Yeah, especially if they're throwing drivers out.
I don't know.
putting
It's
them in.
your punter calling their own fake. I feel.
No. Because this is a niche football reference, but Doug will probably understand. He's like Chase Daniels. Like, he's the backup quarterback, but that's been in the league for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So if he goes in the game and he's like, "Nah, we're doing this," you're like, "Respect. You've been
Yeah.
around the block a couple times. I understand where you're coming from. Do you?"
Yeah.
That's Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good take right there.
Fair enough.
He's not Zach Wilson going in and saying, "I'm gonna call my own shots," and they're like, "No, you're not.
Yeah,
no,
you're
you're not."
I will say this before we get to fan submissions. There's one other thing I forgot to talk about, which was we didn't really talk about Ferrari too much. But what's his name? Charles Leclerc got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but that dropped him below George Russell. Do you know how much he was speeding by? It was
1 kilometer an hour.
no 0.7 kilometers an hour, less than a kilometer an hour, and they gave him a 5-second penalty. The same
Wait,
penalty.
let me convert that, guys.
Yeah, give us the miles per
That
hour.
is half of a mile per hour.
Half a
mean,
mile an
crazy.
hour, and he gets a 5-second time penalty. And that's the same penalty they gave Zhou Guanyu. Zhou Guanyu got a 5-second time penalty, and he knocked out 3 cars. So what the fuck is going on? Anyways,
We said we weren't going to talk about Ferrari because they're very irrelevant in the race this year, and yet Ace finds a way.
there's
Ferrari's
injustice
ass.
happening.
Max wins. 2023 season wrapped.
All right, let's move on to fan submission, and then finish up
Oh,
on the
wait,
other
what?
side with some talk about the Belgium GP that's coming up soon, track walk, and we'll give you some more predictions, and then maybe a little sponsor action, and then we'll head out of here.
Wow.
Andrew, you got them
I
pulled
got
up
them.
yet?
I got them. They're here. Absolutely here. We got a lot. Okay, I'm going to read them all, but fast. Marilyn Wright, Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton. Wow. Pretty dang close.
Well, that's pretty good.
That's good again.
Ricardo. Yeah, I supposed to be on the podcast twice. Ricardo will finish top 10. 13. Not too
close.
far off.
Close.
Next one's from Jacked Beans.
Yes.
Verstappen, Leclerc, Gasly. Not very close. Aston Martin,
No.
double points finish. Aston
Correct.
Martin, double points finish.
That was correct. 9 and 10.
No. But it says after that, with McLaren missing out on points entirely. Super wrong.
Oh,
Incorrect. Super wrong.
Just more Zach Brown slander, please. Jack Beans.
Yep.
Do not know
I
why you
can
hate
give
Zach
you
Brown.
that. No, I can give you that. That guy blows.
What?
All right. I don't understand why, but let's keep going. David Real Steel Keel said, Max, fuck out of here. Russell, maybe IDK, second place. Wrong.
Wrong.
Third, let's go with Norris because fuck it. Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Okay.
Danny Rick in the points to the return. Wrong.
Wrong.
Did you know in Hungary, a parent can only name their child if the government approves it? No, seriously. In Hungary, you have to pick from a pre-approved list of names in order to name your kid. How fucked is that?
No,
I don't
good.
think it's that fucked. Totally
No,
normal.
we need that. We need
There are
that.
some bad
Yeah,
names out
I need
there.
that.
Then
There
we
needs
get
to be more-
then we get less Zach Browns, where your name is spelled ZAC without a fucking K.
No,
Why
it's
is there no
other way
K?
around. Other way
No,
around.
it's just a K. There's no C.
ZAK,
It's K
even
without a
worse.
C.
Without a fucking C.
It's actually his worse.
That's way worse.
But
Why?
alternatively, though, we would also be in a world without names like Mike Crack.
Would we? No, we
Fair.
wouldn't. No, that
You
would
think
be
Mike
approved.
Crack would be? You think the Hungarian government would approve Mike Crack as a name?
Well, the list would probably include the name Mike, and your last name's already Crack.
True.
Okay. We got one more prediction from last week. Bobby Slimcock, who put this in at who put this in at 8 p.m. on Saturday, totally passed when you're
Wait a
allowed to finish.
Okay.
Said Lando P1, actually pretty close. And then
Well-
P2, hopefully Lando Norris nailed it. And then P3 said, got to go with Lando on this. Pretty close.
A Lando fan.
Then bold take was Lando Norris hard tires. Lock it in. Maybe?
Correct.
I think he did hard tire. Yeah, I think he was on hard tire at some point.
His comment for the podcast. I really think they should slow down. My Chevy Equinox 2017 premium package doesn't go nearly as fast, and I feel so safe in it. If Lando doesn't win, I have to take out a second mortgage on my house to cover my gambling debts. Fuck you, dog. All right.
Very
Thanks,
specific.
All right. So
Okay, thanks, Bobby.
let's go to Track Walk, sponsored by Bobby Slimcock.
Go ahead.
So this is the Belgium GP. The race circuit's actually called Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps, and it's in Stavelot, Belgium. So it's frequently referred to as Spa, which I had no idea Spa was the Belgian GP.
Okay.
But
You
When
are
you
going
hear
to
the words-
catch hell for saying that.
when this is Spa, so that's what they mean. The track layout looks like a hot glue gun. I think we touched on that a little bit last year.
100%
I think we did
hot
say
glue
that
gun.
last
There's
year.
nothing
Absolutely,
happening.
we did.
1,000% we said that last year. The first race here was held in 1924, with the winner being an Italian Works Alpha driver, Antonio Ascari. Fun fact, Antonio was killed in this next race, the French GP.
That's a fun fact.
But he's the first ever winner at Spa. The race has been held here 78 times, and then the track is known for having super unpredictable weather. Most notably the 2021 race, which is the shortest F1 World Championship race in history and the only Grand Prix not to have any running under full green flag conditions, and its duration as they only completed 2 full laps under the safety car before just red flagging the race, with the classification counting back to the end of lap 1 with a max win. I'm sure a lot of us remember that. That was like, it was super rainy, and they went around, they're like, yeah, I can't see shit. And so they went 2 laps, and then they just red flagged it, and then they just went 1 more, and then they were just done.
No, but that's
George
still
Russell
for
beat
4
that
hours.
race. In a Williams.
He did. Max won last year in 2022. He actually came back from 14th to win, which is the second lowest position the race has ever been won from. Schumacher actually has the lower. And then Schumacher has the most wins with 6. Ferrari has the most wins as a constructor with 18. The circuit length is 4.352 miles, 7 kilometers for the weirdos. And the race length is 191.398 miles, or 308 kilometers for the weirdos.
Wait, only 44 laps.
44 laps.
I kind of like the longer lap distance.
Yeah, 44 laps, 2 DRS zones. That's the track.
44 laps is not a lot of laps.
No, it's not.
That's pretty crazy.
Compared to literally last week, it was like 70.
I think it was
It's
70
70.
exactly.
Yeah.
Also, isn't this track is like almost 4 times as long as Monaco? Is that
That's
right?
crazy.
No, that can't be right.
No, I think
That-
Monaco's like
yeah.
77
Monaco's
laps.
very short, dude. It's very, very short.
Yeah, Monaco's is 70-something laps and
It's-
doesn't even get to the minimum distance.
It's
Yeah.
2 miles. It's two miles long. So this track is almost it's double. It's more than
Yeah,
double.
it's more than
double.
double. This track is
That's
4.352 miles.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, let's get into predictions. We can
Yeah.
start with Andrew.
Okay, easy money. Max, Lando, Hamilton, Albon, P7, and Ricardo, P14 or better yet again.
Okay.
Nice.
Fair enough. I'll go next because I actually have the same prediction as you. I didn't look at yours, but Max, Lando, Hamilton is what I'm going with too. Yeah, just that pace with the McLaren. You got to put Lando up there. It's like Alonso, just sub him in. And Hamilton's unpredictable car. I have no idea what's going to happen with him. So I like him on the podium. My bold take, though, is Bottas points. That
Not
Alfa
gonna
Romeo's yeah, it's a bold take for a reason. This one's very bold. And then Ricardo beats Yuki again, is what I have to say. So that's what happened last week. I think we're going to see it again. And yeah, that's everything I've got. Jay, what do you have?
So I have Max winning, George Russell second, Lando third. I feel like George Russell should get on the podium eventually, or else he's a bad driver. I have Alpine double points, which is a bold take, because considering the past two, they've crashed into each other. So, and then I have Ricardo last.
Boo.
Doug.
Wrong, dude, objectively. But
Okay, for mine, I have Max winning, and I'm going balls to the wall with McLaren here. So I'm going Lando P2 and Oscar P3. I also have this is a crazy one for me. I also have Logan getting point. I think he's going to get 10th, and Mercedes double DNF.
wow.
Interesting.
Oh, this race is going to be wild.
I hope so.
We need
weather. Let's hope there's some unpredictable weather that causes some chaos. But now we're going to go to some sponsors real quick. So shout out Spotify, Dan McCarthy, Black Dog Woodworking, David Keel, Marilyn Wright, possibly you. Don't forget to set your grid rivals lineup. They're not a sponsor, but they should be. The lock ends in I think it ended at 7. So you guys should be able to update your teams right now. That's all I think we have. Anybody got anything else?
Oh, that's all.
No,
I've
wait.
got.
Can I get the story about Steph Curry?
Oh,
Did he just dog on y'all, just pull up from half court?
pretty
Yeah,
much.
no,
Was he
I
shooting
mean,
threes over a
Were
6'7"
you hurt that game, Doug?
6'7" Kevin Durant?
Yeah, no, that's actually not even very far from the truth. Like we had one friend or one guy we work with. He is literally 6'7", and he was
Played
guarding him the
D3
whole time.
basketball.
Played
He was
D3
a
basketball.
5-year D3 basketball starter.
Yeah, he's by far probably the best player on the team, probably at the event as well. But this dude, this 5'9" dude, just shooting over our
joggers.
6'7" friend in
Showed up
joggers.
in joggers.
He was 27 for 30 from 3.
No
Wow.
way.
Yes, dude. I watched it live with I played in the game. I got a layup at the very end because everybody the last 5 minutes turned into just a dunk contest because they were up by so many. They were just letting us do whatever we wanted. This guy shot left-handed from half court and just swished it. I've never seen somebody pull up with as much confidence and just draining everything. It was insane. Hand in his face with a 6'7" guy. Hand right here, just cash. It was incredible.
Yeah,
We lost 120 to 40.
I'm really not joking when I say it's the most impressive athletic performance I've ever seen in person. And I've been to many NBA games.
Yes, that would be the second most amount of 3-pointers ever made in an NBA game. The most most ever is 29, and the most made by a single player is 14. Klay Thompson.
I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. Never will again. It was unbelievable.
It was the craziest thing of all time.
Dude, get him on the Grizzlies, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
he deserves a lot. He deserves
We're
it.
not kidding you. He's the reincarnation of Steph Curry mixed with Michael Jordan. He also wasn't just shooting it from the 3-point line that they have. He was range.
Yeah,
every single three, NBA threes, just wet. It was incredible.
Wow.
Everything was going in.
It's insane.
Left-handed. He literally shot 2 left-handed shots, made them both.
Multiple
shots over half court. It was ridiculous. He had an aimbot on. It didn't make any sense.
The craziest thing. I shit you not, Andrew, that me, Doug, our friend Kaysen, we've talked about this performance multiple times because it was just the craziest thing we've ever seen. It's insane. I think about it all the time. It was insane. I wish there was